Hello guys, so in the last episode we implemented the video component and we applied OpenCV to that video data and we got the result and we posted that result in a canvas. And now offline outside the filming, so I didn't film but I made some progress and I will show you that progress I made. So now you see I started the video. And now this button is going to affect both the image and the video. So I need to fix that, but I was doing some tests. That's why it's a little bit messy. So you see I have I'm continuously applying the same transformation that I have applied once to this image. I'm continuously applying that transformation to the images obtained from the video stream. So let's stop this. Let's do a fixed color for the transformation. In that way it's more visually appealing. So you see Okay, let's do a field start video. Okay, so you see it's working. So next, let me show you the code that I implemented in order to do that. So I was trying to be organized, to be tidy code-wise. I tried to put all the OpenCV transformations in a file, like resize, canny edge, and it gets the matrix object from OpenCV and it transformed that object. I tried to do that. So my plan was to put all the functions there and then, for example, import those functions like these and use them, for example, here. Here, instead of these two, we have just this function, and instead of resize, instead of these 3 lines, we have just 1 line. The problem is that somehow it has, with the resize transformation, I was able to do that, but with the canny edge, for example, I wasn't able to do that. For some reason, when you pass the matrix object to a function, there is some issues there with the reference and reference by value, reference by no, how do you call it? So yeah, there is some issues that it's not worth it, at least for now, to solve it, just to make this code more readable. So I will just do maybe an extra couple of lines of code and avoid having to deal with those issues, for now at least. So what I did was I'm telling you this because you will see a lot of maybe redundant code that could be put inside a function and then call that function instead of repeating the same lines of code. So that's why I'm telling you this. I'm sure there is smarter ways to code all these, but there is also the straightforward and brute force way that is not going to take performance, but it's going to damage the simplicity of the code, or the tidiness. Well, anyway, let me explain to you what I did. So remember that for this case we had the image, we gave the image ID to the sub to the transformations, that each of these tab is a transformation and is represented by a React component. So we give the ID to the components, and the components take the ID and apply the transformation, the OpenCV transformation, to the image. So I did the same idea. Instead, I got the video on the same function that makes that transformation. I also passed the video and the loop function that loops all the time and extract the images from the video and apply the transformation. So instead of when you press here, you get one transformation of the image. For the case of the video, you press here and you start a loop that will make transformations for infinite amount that will loop over the will do transformations all the time. So you start a loop that will extract a data frame and apply the transformation and give back the transformed image and display that image into the canvas. Yeah, that was not very good explained, but let me show you what I did. So this is the canny edge component. This tab is represented by this component, and you get the input canvas ID, the canvas, the output canvas ID, and when you press the button, you execute for instance, this function CaniEdge, you know where to extract the image because you gave the input canvas ID. You get the information from the inputs. This one, this 4, for example. And then you get the image from the canvas and you apply the transformation. And you also resize in order to display the a controlled version of the input image. So instead of executing this bunch of code once, so these ones, because we are not interested in resizing the video, we are just interested in the transformation. So instead of executing this once, you are going to put that transformation inside the loop. Remember that this is the loop. That is I forgot the name. A recursive function that calls itself. So it's a loop. You're going to put this code here. So the code that apply the transformation and show the transformed data is here. So yeah, I did that with the CaniEdge transformation and also with the contour transformation. That will be this one. So for this transformation, I had some issues. Let me show you the issues I faced. So here is the section where you get the video element. You create some matrix objects, and then you initialize the loop. And each time you loop, you get an image frame here from the video, and you set that image frame to the matrix object, and you apply the corresponding transformation. But in this case, I had to create a middle matrix object because when we were looping, the transformation were changing the type of the input matrix, and then when the loop starts again, the type that now is the input is a different one, and then the transformation is complained because it was expecting to receive this type, this matrix type, but since you are applying some color change transformations, like you just extract the gray spectrum, how do you call that? You end up changing the type of the matrix here, and maybe even here too. I'm not sure which one. One of those two is changing the type of this one that serves video. So then when you loop again and you give that source matrix to here, it complains because you have changed this. So I had to create another that is the one that is going to suffer the change in type, and not this one. And also, so you see here, you transform from here to here, and this is the one that gets changed. This is the one that its type gets changed, and you proceed as normal. Another thing that was failing and that I had to fix was that this matrix component was not deleting the previous data. For some reason, it was adding up the changes. So it was displaying a wrong data to the output canvas. So let me show it to you, because it's better for you to see and not for me to explain, because it's easier if you see the issue. So if we don't reset that component, this is what happens. I have to fix this because so you see, I guess that is the problem that we face if we don't reset that matrix component. For some reason it's happening for the contour, but it's not happening for the canny edge. You see, it's not happening. Doesn't happen for this case, but it happens for the contour. That's another reason why I didn't encapsulate the code in order to make it more readable, and I just make it more explicit, because there is some subtleties that you need to work around, and if you encapsulate the code, you add an additional layer of complexity, so you end up having to debug more scenarios. Because maybe it was failing because of the encapsulation of the code, or maybe it was failing because it just, the OpenCV works differently. Like this case, for example, that canny edge, you don't need to reset. You don't need to reset the this matrix. You don't need to reset it. for some reason you do need to reset it for the contour. For the contour to work. So yeah, it's better to have it more code but more explicit, I guess, in these cases. And also, besides having to reset that, you had to deal with changing on types of the matrices. But anyways, I think the contour transformation is the most difficult because of the requirements for the transformations, that they require certain type. They require that the matrix have certain type. Oh, wait. Next, I have to detach this section from this one because they are together. They are linked because I was just testing, so I was not preoccupied for a user-friendly interface. Now what happened? Well, I didn't save. That's why. So now it works. After applying some tricks that hopefully you have understood. And if you haven't understood, maybe it's because this is too messy, since I just made it work. So there's a bunch of the extra lines of code that do not need to be there, and the logic is not perfect because I have two things linked that they shouldn't. So that's for today's episode. So next we are going to make this we're going to fix these two sections. We're going to split them apart, like create a checkbox that says process image or process camera or something like this, something like that, and make it more easy to use, because right now I have to pick a file, start the video, stop the video, press this button. So next episode we are going to fix all those clicks and all that setup. We are going to simplify the setup. That's in a few words, that's what I wanted to say. We're going to simplify the setup to make this work. Okay, so that's for today's episode. Goodbye.